Hello dear students of third prep science, let's go to start our episode today, but firstly let's go to welcome with Miss Rasha Abdullah. Hi Miss Rasha, how are you?
Hi Mr. Muhammad, welcome.
Welcome. So here we have to explain a new lesson as we will talk about the speed of chemical reaction. As we know before, we talked about the chemical reactions and the types of chemical reactions as thermal decomposition reaction, as simple substitution reaction, double substitution reaction, and also we talk about the oxidation reduction reaction. So here we have lesson 2 unit 1 speed of chemical reactions. يلا نبتدي مع بعض ب زي ما احنا شايفين قدامنا كده unit 1 lesson 2 speed of chemical reactions، يعني سرعة التفاعل الكيميائي speed of chemical reactions. Okay. Firstly, we should know the meaning of speed of chemical reaction. يعني إيه معنى كلمة speed? So if we know or if we talk about the speed of chemical reaction, we should link between the reaction and the time. As we studied before in first term, if we talk about speed, we have distance and time according to the speed or velocity. But here we talk about the change in the concentration of the reactants and products at time unit. يعني تغير في ال concentration of reactants and products as أو at time unit، يعني بمرور الوقت. As we have here chemical equation about the nitrogen pentoxide، يعني هنا في 5 oxygen atoms, so we have nitrogen pentoxide يعني will decompose into what and what. We have here nitrogen dioxide and at the same time we have oxygen. We have nitrogen dioxide and we have oxygen. So here we have in the right side of the reaction, here we have the reactants. On the left side we have here the reactants, and at the right side we have the products. So we have to change the the concentration of reactants, and form a new reactants or form products with another concentration. Okay, Ms. Rasha, you have any comment about this?
As Mr. Muhammad said, the definition of speed of chemical reaction is the change of the concentration of both reactant and product as time passes or in a unit time. At the beginning of the chemical reaction, the reactant is 100% concentration and the product is 0%. This is at the beginning of chemical reaction. As the time passes, the reactant become less than 100% and the product increase. At the end of the chemical reaction, the reactant become 0% and the product become 100%. So we have to know that at the beginning, reactant decreases, okay, at the beginning the reactant 100%, then the product is 0. By passing the time and the reaction goes on, the product will be 0% and the resultant will be 100%. Okay, Mr. Muhammad?
Okay, so here we know how can we differentiate between the reactants and the products. We have at the beginning, as Ms. Rasha said before, we have reactants, we have products. عندنا reactants اللي هم المتفاعلين زي ما بنسميهم، والبرودكتس أو the resultants أو النتيجة من الchemical reaction. So at the beginning of chemical reaction، في بداية الرياكشن هل كان في products؟ So we have أو يعني logically no products، يعني في بداية الreactants ما كانش فيه products. So the concentration of the reactants at the beginning of the chemical reaction is 100%. اللي بيقول لي خلي بالكم at the beginning و at the end because we talk about what? Change in concentration as time passes، يعني بمرور الوقت يبقى at the beginning and at the end. زي ما احنا شايفين قدامنا this table illustrates زي ما احنا شايفين the concentration of what? Reactants and the concentration of products at the beginning. هنا بيقول لي at what? At the beginning of reaction. So the concentration of reactants is what? Is 100%. and at the beginning of the reactants the concentration of products is 0%. We have no products at the beginning. ما عنديش أكيد نتيجة وأنا لسه ببدأ. But here at the end of the chemical reaction, في نهاية الchemical reaction, we have what? The concentration of reactants, how many? Is 0. Because we talk here about the what? At the end. نهاية reaction. خلاص مفيش reactants. But we have only what? Products. So we have here 100% of products. خلي بالنا at the beginning and at the end. Because we talk about time, and the time is the main factor of the speed of chemical reaction. But what are the factors affecting the speed of chemical reactions اللي بيأثر في سرعة التفاعل الكيميائي؟ Affecting the speed of chemical reaction. Number one, we have here the type of coherence in the reactants. كلمة coherence هنا معناها as molecules. Okay? Type of molecules in the reactants. We have two type of or compounds يعني. Here we have number one covalent compounds and we have number two ionic compounds. Okay, we studied before in first prep خدنا في أولى إعدادي covalent bond and ionic bond, and we know covalent between two nonmetals by sharing of electrons. No losing, no gaining of electrons. So give reason for here. Number one, the covalent compounds الرياكشن فين؟ في الكوفالنت compounds is what? is أو are slow. بيعملوا رياكشن بس slow. Give reason for. ليه يا ترى ليه؟ طبعا here we have the molecules not ions, because we have this compound is formed by sharing of electrons. So the answer here هقول له because the reaction are between molecules مش between ions. فبياخد time. ليه؟ لأن هنا by sharing so they are combined together strongly. رابطين مع بعض جامد قوي. So the reaction between what? Between the molecules. But here we have other side. We have ionic compounds. The reaction between the ionic compounds is fast. بسرعة بيبقى أسرع. ليه؟ Because the reaction here is between what? Molecules or ions? هقول له طبعا because the reaction between ions. So the reaction between ions بيبقى what? Faster than the reaction between molecules, as we say here in the أو as a comparison between the reactants and the products in the speed of chemical reaction of number one as a type of coherence between the reactants. Okay.
Okay, so we can summarize this point in one give reason for ionic compound are faster than covalent compound. Okay, this will summarize the point of ionic and covalent. This is why, because ionic compounds reaction takes place between ions. The compound already separated between positive and negative ion. There is a losing and gaining electrons, so it's already electrons have moved from the atom forming ion, so they are ready to react fastly as they are already ion. While covalent, it's by sharing electron, so they are reaction take place between the molecule itself. While covalent compounds takes place between molecules. Okay, this is the whole molecule by sharing, and this is the ion by losing and gaining electron, so it is faster. Okay, next point, Mr. Muhammad.
So here we have to know, number one is the nature of reactants. The nature of reactants depending on two factors or two types. Number one, the type of coherence or the type of compounds. We have ionic and covalent, but we have another factor. We have the surface area of the reactants. طبعا as we have two main two types of the reactants, as we have here the powder or a piece, as we have fillings يعني برادة أو powder, or turnings as we have here powder, and here we have زي ما احنا شايفين piece. So طبعا if we put مثلا for example piece of effervescent tablet يعني قطعة من فوار, piece, one piece as a tablet of effervescent, and at the same time we have powder, same amount but in form of powder يعني بودرة effervescent فوار. We put both of them in the same amount of water, in the two different طبعا containers. Which one will react faster أو dissolve faster؟ طبعا الباودر هو اللي هيشتغل أسرع من البيس. Why? Because the surface area increase. طبعا الباودر هياخد surface طبعا the powder or fillings in any reactants faster than the piece. As we see here زي ما احنا هنشوف هنا قدامنا دلوقتي, we have number one surface area, as we have surface area, and number two as we studied before the type of compound. Type of compound as ionic or covalent. Here we have زي ما احنا شفنا a surface area. If the surface area increase, the speed of chemical reaction will decrease. Increase. So in case of fillings or turning يعني اللي هو الباودر تمام or powder, the speed of reaction increase. Why? يعني more effervescence يعني هيبقى عندي فوران أكتر. As because the surface area increases يعني لأن هو اتفرد في مكان أكبر. يبقى لما أسمع كلمة fillings or turning or powder in any given reason, we talk about the surface area. So the speed of reaction will increase. Why? Because the surface area increase. As we have here, for example, if we have here zinc with hydrochloric acid, this zinc is fillings, or iron fillings, حديد بودرة with hydrochloric acid. We have effervescence. Why this effervescence is higher than in piece or the reaction between piece of iron and the hydrochloric acid؟ هقول له because surface area increase, so the speed of reaction will increase. طبعا هنا قلنا types of compounds, قلنا ionic compound and faster than covalent compounds, because طبعا the reaction in ionic compound is between ions, while here the reaction between between molecules, so the reaction between molecules take longer time more than the ionic compounds. As here we have concentration of reactants. لو التركيز بقى أنا مش هتكلم على السيرفيس اريا ولا هتكلم على البيس, but we will talk about the concentration. As we have يعني مثلا هنا عندي hydrochloric acid concentrated, and we have another amount of hydrochloric acid but diluted مخفف. Which one will react faster? Concentrated or diluted؟ مين اللي هيشتغل أسرع؟ أكيد ال concentrated. يبقى if the concentration of the reactant increase, the speed of chemical reaction will increase also. I think we have give reason here.
Yes, we have give reason.
Yes.
The second give reason we have give reason for speed.
Miss Rasha, بس excuse me, we have a phone caller here.
Okay.
Okay. سيد from Cairo.
Hello, Mr.
ازيك يا سيد؟
I'm fine. Mr. في سؤال بس.
اتفضل.
The solar system includes includes 9 planets revolve around the sun.
Solar system؟
ايه؟
Solar system؟
هو من الترم الأول. دي جت في الامتحان، هي مش المفروض 8 صح؟
السولار سيستم have 8 planets rotating around the sun.
أنا بقى عملتها كده في الامتحان، بس يعني أنا لما رحت عملت تظلم ما رضوش يرجعوها لي.
طب هو سيد، بس الموضوع ده يعني مش في ايدي انا، بس هو الانسر المظبوطه ان ده number of planets rotating around the sun in the solar system هم 8 planets مش 9 planets، لان كان زمان بيقولوا ان بلوتو is a planet from the planets of the solar system، بس الكلام ده اتلغى لان اكتشفوا ان بلوتو has its own orbit، ليه اوربت تاني خالص، وليه other properties not planet مش كوكب، وخدتوها في فيرست بريب في اولى اعدادي، وبتاخدوها تاني في ثالثه اعدادي بات ان ذا فيرست تيرم. فده اللي انا اقدر اقوله لك، ان الانفورميشن او الداتا المظبوطه للمعلومه دي ان هم 8 planets. Said, you have another any question about this part, speed of chemical reaction? طب okay, thank you Said, thank you. Okay, Ms. Rasha, you have a question here.
Okay,
As a give reason.
yes, give reason
Okay.
for speed of chemical reaction increases by increasing the concentration of the reactant. Okay, as Mr. Muhammad said, we have an experiment. If we add magnesium to dilute HCl and magnesium to concentrated HCl, we will observe that the reaction is faster in the concentrated HCl. This is why, due to the increase of the collision rate, the molecule will hit each other more in the concentrated reactant than the diluted reactant. So the answer is, this is due to increase in rate of collision between molecules.
Okay. So here we know now why the speed of chemical reaction increases if or by increasing the surface area as fillings or turning or powder. قلنا the speed of chemical reaction increase because the surface area increase. طب ليه give reason for by increasing the surface area the speed of chemical reaction will increase because the rate or the number of collisions between molecules will increase. التصادمات ما بين المولكيولز هتزيد في السيرفيس area. And as the previous one we talk about the concentration، لما المكان يبقى زحمه يعني مركز more than diluted، اقول له the speed of chemical reaction in the concentrated solution is more than diluted. Why؟ اقول له because the number or the rate of collisions between molecules increase. يبقى انا عندي the same answer in the surface area and in what in the surface area. اوكي we have رقية من الغربية، اتفضلي.
الو.
الو ازيك؟
الحمد لله.
You have a question؟
لا انا عايزه اسال.
عايزه تسألي. طب لو قلت لك give reason for مثلا formation of red precipitate on adding magnesium to copper sulfate solution.
Due to the decomposition of red mercuric oxide.
No, I'm talking now about the on adding magnesium to copper sulfate, blue copper sulfate.
معلش انا اسف.
لا ابدا.
due to the substitution of magnesium to copper sulfate because magnesium is more active than copper sulfate as it comes before it in the chemical activity series.
Okay, but here رقية خلي بالك هنا بيقول لي formation of red or reddish brown or brownish red، يبقى لازم عندي اقول له مين؟ because مثلا magnesium replace copper and the copper precipitate as a reddish brown او brownish red او red، يبقى هو خلي بالك هو بيتكلم على الكالر، يبقى عايز السبستنس اللي ايه is formed. Okay, you have anything to explain in this episode or in the previous one?
No, thanks.
Thank you رقية, thank you. So here we have, as we see here, we have the concentration of the reactants. نبص كده مع بعض. بيقول لي the speed of reaction increase because the number of collisions between molecules increase. طبعا هنا we have different substances. بصوا هنحطهم كلهم مع بعض. Each one has its own time. كل واحد ليه بصوا 1 2 3 4 not at the same time. Not at the same time. كلهم ما اتغيروش في نفس الوقت. Because the concentration is different from one to another compound. So the number of collision between molecules will increase. So our collisions اللي هو الاصطدامات. So the speed of chemical reaction will increase. Here we have the temperature of reactants increase. طبعا لو درجة الحرارة زادت. طيب we have another phone caller نور الهدى. هاي نور.
السلام عليكم.
من قنا. ازيك؟ وعليكم
السلام عليكم.
وعليكم السلام ورحمه الله وبركاته.
وبركاته.
ايه اخبارك يا مستر؟
الحمد لله تمام.
انا عندي سؤال.
عايزه تسالي. طيب ناخد مثلا what happens
ماشي.
if you burn او heat red mercury oxide.
ريد ميركوري اوكسايد.
What happens?
Red mercury oxide decomposed by heating into mercury oxide and oxygen. وهنكتب المعادلة اللي هي 2HGO.
Excellent.
لما decompose by heat هتديني 2HG plus O2 والالون بتاع الاولاني يبقى ريد هتتحول لسيلفر.
Excellent.
نور.
You have طب another question. What is meant by the speed of chemical reaction اللي هو النهارده اللي اخدناه النهارده يعني.
It is a change in concentration of reactants and products through a unit time.
Good job. Good job. Thank you very
Thank
much
you,
for your
Raya.
participation in this episode. Thank you. نكمل مع بعض. عندنا temperature. لو انا سخنت الحاجه the speed of chemical reaction will increase. اكيد يعني مثلا if we have hot cup of water and we have cold cup of water. هنا عندنا ميه ساقعه وهنا عندنا ميه سخنه. And we add a spoon of sugar. حطينا معلقه سكر in hot water and in cold water. Which one will dissolve faster? السكر هيدوب اسرع فين؟ في الهوت ووتر ولا في الكولد ووتر؟ without stirring من غير ما اقلب. حاسبهم كده. طبعا the sugar will dissolve faster in hot water. Why? Because if temperature increase, the speed of chemical reaction increase. Why? Because the number of collisions between molecules will increase. يبقى انا عندي ثلاث حاجات. Surface area increase, the speed of chemical reaction increase because the collisions between molecules increase. Concentration increase, the speed of chemical reaction increase because the collisions between molecules increase. Number 3, temperature of reactants increase, the speed of chemical reaction increase برضه because the collisions or the rate of collisions between molecules will increase. As we see here, temperature زي ما شايفين قدامنا كده temperature. If the temperature increases, the speed of the reaction increases because برضه اهو number of collisions between molecules increase by heating. طبعا بصوا هنا at the right side عندنا اللي على اليمين خالص ده hot molecules and at the left side with red color with blue color اللي على الشمال اللي هو لونه ازرق ده cold molecules. At hot molecules the number of collisions between molecules will increase so the speed of chemical reaction will increase. Okay, Miss Rasha, we have another question here.
Yes, we have a give reason.
Give reason, yes.
Why during increasing the temperature, the speed of chemical reaction increase, the rate of collision increase. يبقى why the rate of collision increase by increasing the temperature. Give reason.
And also we have the question of fridge.
Yes.
Yes.
Speed of chemical reaction.
Miss Rasha, excuse me,
Okay.
we have Asim
Speed of
from Alexandria. Hi Asim.
الو.
ازيك؟
الحمد لله.
You have a question?
لا انا عايز اسال.
عايز تسأل. طب قلت لك مثلا which one will react faster with hydrochloric acid and why? Which one will react faster with hydrochloric acid and why? Piece of iron or iron fillings?
I am ready.
Iron fillings. Okay. Why?
Because he react fast from him.
Why? I know. يبقى انت قلت iron fillings will react faster with hydrochloric acid than piece of iron. Why بقى؟ As a give reason يعني.
Because he react after a short time.
لا مش هقول له react fast. ما انت اوكي انت قلت react faster. Give reason for. هقول له because the surface area increase so the number of ايه؟
The number of
collisions
collision.
between molecules will increase. Thank you thank you Atif Asim from Alexandria. We will complete with Miss
Okay,
Rasha.
we have to give reasons. The
Yes.
first give reason, rate of collision. Why? The rate of collision increases by increasing the temperature. This is because when the temperature increase, the molecule movement increase, so the kinetic energy increases. يبقى the rate of collision increases by increasing the temperature due to the increase in the kinetic energy of the molecule. يبقى due to increase in kinetic energy of the molecules.
Our number of collisions.
Yes.
Yes.
Now this is increasing the rate of collision due to the increase in the kinetic energy. The second question, food is kept inside fridge. Or the food is rotten if it's not kept inside the fridge or the freezer. This is due what make the food spoiled is the action of bacteria. So by adding the food inside the fridge, we decrease the chemical reaction done by bacteria, so the food will kept away from the bacteria action. يبقى food is kept inside the fridge to decrease reaction done by bacteria.
By decreasing temperature.
Yes. Or the other question, the food is spoiled if it is kept outside the fridge. This is because the action of chemical reaction done by bacteria is increased by increasing the temperature. Okay?
Okay. As we see here, we have the third factor affecting the speed of chemical reaction as we talk about temperature of the reactants. As Ms. Rasha said, if the temperature increase, the speed of chemical reaction will increase because the rate of collisions between molecules or between reactants will increase. As we see here, we have زي ما احنا شايفين قدامنا دلوقتي, we have number one. Here we have tablet, effervescent tablet in cold water, and we have another effervescent tablet in hot water. Which one will react faster? طبعا in hot water on the right side طبعا react faster. ليه? Because the temperature increase, so the number of collisions between molecules will increase. The number 4, the catalyst. catalyst معناها منشط او محفز. catalyst معناها ايه؟ substance speed up the reaction without being changed. يعني هو ما يتغيرش. هو not reactant, not product. هو reactant ولا هو product. So we write the catalyst above the arrow. بنكتبه فوق الارو between the reactants and the products. لأن هو ولا reactant ولا product. So we have two types of catalyst. As we have positive catalyst as positive acceleration in the first term. And we have negative catalyst. The positive catalyst increase the speed of reaction or the chemical reaction. And we have negative catalyst decrease the speed of reaction. واحد بيبطئ reaction, واحد بيسرع reaction. يبقى احنا عرفنا ان الكاتاليست substance ممكن اقول له بدل speed up اقول له change the speed of reaction without being changed. طبعا why give reason مثلا, هو اشمعنى هو ما اتغيرش؟ هنعرف دلوقتي. Number one, properties of catalysts as we have number one, use in a small amount. بستخدمه بكميات صغيرة يعني بيوفر لي. Doesn't change. ليه هو doesn't change؟ ليه ما بيتغيرش؟ طبعا هنا هنعرف ان هو combine and separate with reactants fast. يبقى number two as a give reason. Catalysts doesn't change. ليه ما بيتغيرش؟ اقول له عشان هو combine and separate with reactants fast or fastly. يعني بيربط معاه ويبعد بسرعه فما بيتغيرش. Number 4, decreasing the using energy. بيوفر لي energy. ده كله مميزات. يبقى using a small amount maybe 1 gram. Number 2, doesn't change. وعرفنا doesn't change ليه give reason. هقول له combine and separate with reactants fast. اكني زقيت واحد وبعدت. يعني combine and separate with reactants fast. Number 4, decrease the using energy as we have here experiment as we use manganese dioxide as we studied before in sixth primary. خدنا في 6 ابتدائي the preparation of oxygen. حطيت manganese dioxide اللي هو MnO2 as a catalyst to decompose hydrogen peroxide into water and what? And oxygen gas evolve اللي هي نشوف كده اللي هي طبعا اكسبيرمنت معروفه جدا اللي هي هيدروجين بيروكسيد H2O2 تمام اللي بيسموه ميه اكسجين
Oxygen water, yes.
او اكسجين ووتر اللي هو H2O2 decompose into H2O and O2. طبعا هنا without balance، يعني انا عارف ان مفيش بالانس في الايكويشن، طبعا هنعمله او ميس رشا هتوريه لنا دلوقتي as a chemical equation between او decomposition of hydrogen peroxide into water and oxygen gas. اتفضل يا مس
Okay,
رشا.
first we have a give reason. The first give reason, manganese dioxide is used as a catalyst. يبقى give reason we have manganese dioxide is used as a catalyst. As Mr. Muhammad said, the catalyst speed up the chemical reaction by bonding with the reactant and separate quickly before forming the product. Okay? يبقى الcatalyst will bond with the reactant, okay? And before the product is formed, it will be separated quickly. This is the action of manganese with the hydrogen peroxide. يبقى عندي هنا manganese because manganese dioxide increase the decomposition of hydrogen peroxide into water and oxygen. Okay, يبقى give reason manganese dioxide is used as a catalyst because manganese dioxide increase the decomposition rate of hydrogen peroxide into water and oxygen. Okay.
Okay. So we know now how can we deal with the speed of chemical reactions by 4 main factors. Number 1, the type of or the nature of the reactants, as we have 2 main points here. The type of compound or coherence. Number 2, the surface area. Ionic compounds react faster than covalent because ionic compounds the reaction between ions, while in covalent compounds the reaction or the reaction between molecules. Number 2, the surface area is when the surface area increase as we have fillings or powder, the speed of chemical reaction will increase. طبعا هنقول because the surface area increase, so the speed of chemical reaction will increase. If the concentration increase, the speed of chemical reaction will increase because the number of collisions between molecules will increase. As in surface area برضو بقول له the number of collisions between molecules increase. At the same time we have temperature of the reactants. If the temperature increase, so the speed of chemical reaction will increase because the number of collisions between molecules will increase. Number 4, we have catalyst. And the catalyst is substance change the speed of chemical reaction, and we have without being changed، يعني ما بيتغيرش بيفضل زي ما هو لان هو ولا reactant ولا product. As we have positive catalyst speed up the reaction يعني بيزود سرعة الرياكشن، and at the same time we have negative catalyst decrease the speed of chemical reaction or slow down the speed of chemical reaction. We have 2 main catalysts as we have manganese dioxide او MnO2 اللي هو بيعمل decomposition للهيدروجين peroxide into oxygen and water. And we have another catalyst as oxidase enzyme. Oxidase enzyme ده برضو catalyst. If we add small amount of oxidase enzyme to H2O2 اللي هو hydrogen peroxide will decompose into water and oxygen, as we have here these chemical equations. Number 1, we have H2O2. طبعا we have here 2 to make the balance of the chemical equation. Here we have what? Hydrogen peroxide decompose into water and oxygen gas evolve. By what? By manganese dioxide is a positive catalyst طبعا لأنه speed up the chemical reaction، زود السرعة. And if we use another catalyst as we have here oxidase enzyme will decompose into برضو water and oxygen gas evolve. So we can know now the catalyst. We have 2 examples in our curriculum as we have manganese dioxide and we have oxidase enzyme. Both are catalyst. Here we have hydrogen peroxide. not dioxide. Okay, hydrogen peroxide decompose into water and oxygen gas evolves. So I think we cover all points in this lesson.
Okay, can we tell the difference between catalyst and enzyme? Is there a difference between them?
Catalyst is طبعا ممكن يبقى non organic يعني substance يعني زي manganese dioxide. انما الانزيم بيبقى اورجانيك او ناتشورال كاتاليست، حاجه طبيعيه
inside the living organism.
inside the living organism. يعني عندنا مثلا اميليز انزيم، عندنا حاجات هناخدها بعد كده في البيولوجي.
In the school book we have the oxidase enzyme found in sweet potato.
Yes,
and it is found only inside the living organism, to increase the speed of all vital activities inside living organism.
Yes.
Okay, so there is difference between enzyme and catalyst.
catalyst. طبعا احنا عرفنا دلوقتي الديفرنس بين الانزيم او الكاتاليست. طبعا الانزيم هو كاتاليست but exist in the living organism جواه. تمام. طيب here we have questions as we see. Number one، السؤال الاولاني بيقول لي give reason for the rate of chemical reaction increase by increase temperature. ليه الرياكشن بيزيد لو انا زودت التمبريتشر؟ طبعا here هقول له because ايه بقى؟ اظن احنا ممكن نجاوبها سهله جدا. اقول له because the rate او the number of collisions
increases
between reactants increases or will increase. Okay. Number two، manganese dioxide is called positive catalyst. خلي بالنا هنا we answer according to positive catalyst. We have to pick the answer from the question. Manganese dioxide is called positive catalyst. أقول له because
speed up the chemical reaction.
Speed up the chemical reaction يبقى زود سرعة the chemical reaction. Okay. Number C، the rate of burning of fuel increase by increase the concentration of oxygen. طبعا we know as we studied before oxygen helps in burning, but the rate of burning يعني معدل الحرق of fuel increase by increase the concentration. يبقى we have to answer according to concentration. اقول له because ايه؟ اقول له because برضو the number. yes اظن كده عرفناها خلاص. the number or the rate of collisions between molecules أو reactants will increase. Okay. Here we have another what happens as we have give reason what happens when the concentration of reactants increase during the chemical reaction. طبعا if concentration increase هقول له the
speed of chemical reaction increases.
يبقى the speed of chemical reaction increases.
This give reason they have an experiment in the school book about it. To equal amount of steel score, adding one in the first jar containing natural air and the other containing pure oxygen.
Yes.
And we all know that the air contain 21% only of oxygen and the other will be 100% oxygen. So the steel score which inside the pure oxygen will burn faster as the concentration and the rate of collision increase. This is an experiment inside the school book about this point.
Yes, as here give reason. Number 7, as Miss Rasha said, the rate of burning increase in a jar filled with oxygen more than in atmospheric air. طبعا هنا we compare between oxygen only and atmospheric air يعني oxygen with other gases as carbon dioxide, water vapor.
Percent in air 21% oxygen.
1%.
Like this 100%.
Yes. So here we talk about what? Temperature or surface area or concentration. طبعا we talk about concentration لان هنا number one we have oxygen only, but here we have all the components of the atmospheric air. So the answer اقول له because the concentration of oxygen increase, so the rate or the chemical reaction rate of burning will increase.
Okay, we have another give reason.
Yes. You have another
Yes,
give
I
reason.
have another give reason. In oil hydrating, we use nickel fillings instead of nickel pieces. يبقى ال question asking between the fillings and the pieces. يبقى this is concerning the surface area.
Surface
Okay, I'm
areas.
going to write it. Give reason. Nickel fillings used instead of nickel pieces in oil hydration. Okay, this is why we said to look at the question. This is filling and this is pieces. يبقى because speed of chemical reaction increases by increasing surface area, and which is area is bigger, the filling have more area, and nickel fillings has larger area. So the reaction of fillings is faster than the reaction of pieces.
Okay, let's go to take a little break, then we will return back again. Okay, welcome back, dear students. Here we have the final points in our lesson today, as we talked about the speed of chemical reactions. We know the four main factors affecting the speed of chemical reactions, and we answer all the questions, I think, about the expected question in this lesson, give reason or what happens. But we have a last video that illustrate the reaction between iron fillings and iron piece with hydrochloric acid. طبعا in case of iron fillings, the hydrogen will evolve from this reaction is more than in the reaction with hydrochloric acid with iron. But in case of piece, زي ما هنشوف دلوقتي مع بعض الاكسبيرمنت دي، هو ان هو جاب ايه زي ما احنا شايفين الفيديو هنا، piece of iron and we add what? We add drops هنا الفيلينجز iron fillings and we add drops of what? or zinc fillings يعني as you like، المهم ان هو fillings ان هو powder and we add drops of hydrochloric acid. As you see here we have effervescence. This effervescence which means the evolution of hydrogen
gas.
تصاعد الهيدروجين gas. But in case of fillings the hydrogen amount is more than in piece of iron. So we have, as you see here, طبعا we will block the by stopper the test tube هنقفلها كويس. Then طبعا under the supervision of your teacher in the school's lab، مش لوحدي هعملها، teacher بتاعي. طبعا here if we approach a glowing splint or burning match، لو قربت منها عود كبريت will make a pop sound because طبعا زي ما احنا شايفين قدامنا اهو الهيدروجين burn طبعا with pop sound زي ما احنا شفناها كده اهو approach اهو بصوا عمل صوت اللي هو او عمل pop sound. Okay, thank you Miss Rasha for your effort in this episode.
Thank you, Mr. Muhammad. Thanks, dear student. Until meet you in the next episode, inshallah. Please.
Thank you, dear students, for your participation in this episode. See you next episode. Thank you.